Hi YouTube, and welcome back to a new season of On the Road Tuning with ACDodd. And to kick off this year, I've got a weekend's tuning for you, so I've condensed it down into one episode. So let's kick off and go straight up to Wokingham. Okay, so here we are over in Wokingham. Some of you might remember this car because this is Alex's Mini that I tuned last year. And he had me over here to look at this car to set the engine up because it was a brand new engine. So here's Alex. Let's see how he's been getting on with the car.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Thanks for having me back. How have you been getting on with the car in the last year?
It's been great. Yeah, I've run it in, as you said, used the running in oil for the first 250 and then changed it up for the 2050 afterwards. Done just over 500 miles and it was starting to bog a bit. It was running very lean, so hence calling you back.
Yeah, excellent. So you're all nicely running now. So what we'll do is we'll get stuck in and then dial this engine in, get the fueling up to where it should be so it can generate its maximum power.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay, so back under the bonnet of Alex's Mini. So interesting one, this one. As soon as I got onto it, literally as soon as I touched the engine, the coil went wrong. So we had to replace the coil. What had happened is the resistance, the primary resistance of the coil, when I measured that, it was actually open circuit. So I took the coil off, and then when I took the bracket off, it came back in circuit. So I tried it a few times, and sure enough, the fitting of the bracket was enough to squash the case, which then basically affected the circuit inside. So we changed the coil for a Viper Power Spark 0.8 unit to go with the 65D coil, 65D Dizzy. 35 foul plug gaps, so we've got high energy ignition, and yeah, she runs good. So moving on to dialing it in, the timing's pretty much correct on this one. The only issue we have got is the vacuum unit has died, and that was good last year, but it's died between last year and this year. Unfortunately, I don't have a spare one, so I've given instructions to Alex how to change that, and then he just needs to reset the timing. Onto the carburetor. This engine has got a ported head, SW5 cam, 1.3 rockers, so you know it's all there for a fast road engine. So I've removed the red spring, fitted a yellow spring, taken out the BDL needle that was in there for running in, and replaced it with a BBA, and then dialed it in. So let's Alex go out and see what he thinks. Okay, so Alex has been out for a drive now, so let's go and see what he thinks of it now we've set it up.
Oh yeah, it was excellent.
Just one word, excellent.
One word,
yeah. So what's the difference between having it set up for running in and setting up for and now set up for maximum power?
Well, obviously for running in it was really lean, so it was a bit boggy, it was hesitant sometimes, and as you found, it had made itself even leaner over the period of running it in. So now it's just, yeah, night and day. Just pulls really strongly throughout the rev range. I've just taken Cameron out in it. You can vouch for that as well. It was a really good little runabout.
Oh, excellent. Right, so in terms of how that feels on the throttle, what's it like to drive?
Really responsive, actually. As you say, we'll get the vac unit sorted and everything, but I didn't notice it hesitating or not giving anything.
Yeah, okay.
It was really good.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks for having us back to sort this out, and also I just want to thank you for arranging it for the Thames Valley Mini Club today so that you can have other members here, because it makes it cheaper for everyone, so well done on that.
No problem.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Okay, second car of the day is a lovely pickup. Look at this. Everyone likes a nice pickup. Beautiful. So this one's got a bit of a rorty engine. What size engine is this one?
1275.
Yeah, it's a 1275, but it's got 1.5 rockers, ported head. It's got a VP3C camshaft, and old school Lucas electronic high power ignition. It's all working. The only thing wrong with this one was it was very, very rich. So the carburetor, we had 0.7 and then 0.65 lambda across the rev range. So yeah, we had to wind the fuel out because this one was doing itself a mischief with too much fuel. So on closer inspection, the engine itself is in fine condition, but we're fitted, that great big engine's only got a HI38 carb on. So in this particular case, because the owner wants to change it for a bigger carb, I've reset the mixture, and unusually, the needle in it was fueling perfectly across the part throttle range. So I've left it there so the owner can go away and fit his larger carb. And we've also got a very slow ignition advance curve, so that also needs doing as well. So in this case, I've made it run better, but in terms of where we need to go for the future, it needs a few other bits to make it run well. So hopefully the owner will like this one. We'll let him go out for a test drive. Okay, so the owner went out for a test drive on this one, and he reported that it ran much smoother and a lot more responsive throttle action. So, yeah, he was very happy with that. It's just a good job he actually brought this one in, because it was running so rich. It was actually, you know, washing its own rings out. So it's a good idea if you don't really know what's going on, or you think your car's running rich, is to have someone like myself come and make sure that it's actually running well enough that it's not damaging itself. Right, here we are down in Hedge End, a nice little Mini 30. We'll have a quick look under the bonnet in a minute, but first we're going to talk to Jeff Hills. Now, this isn't Jeff's car. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Some of you will know that I know Jeff very well, so me and Jeff get on very well. We've known each other for a long time regarding Minis. So why have you called me down here today, Jeff?
Well, this has got a replacement engine, and this engine is well, it should be a pretty good one, and it's in to replace a very high mileage engine that was fitted a good few years ago. So we need to get this set up, and we need to get it running properly. This is setting the lifetime of the engine. It's a 1,000, maybe 2,000 mile engine that now needs to be properly set up.
Okay, so this was a 998 engine, and now we've gone up to a
1293.
Oh yeah, so it's quite useful. Any modifications?
It's got a big valve head and a SW5 cam. It's got Omega pistons, and it's got a lightened and balanced flywheel, which you did, Adrian. And
okay, so it's got the right bits on it by the sounds of it.
And a fast road dizzy, yeah, it should be, yeah.
Okay, well, let's dig into it and see what we can get out of it.
Sure.
Okay, so having a look at this one, well, there was a lot of little things that we needed to look at. So first things first was the coil that was fitted was a 3-ohm coil, and we were running a 65D Dizzy. So if anyone's seen my other videos, we know we've got the wrong coil. So we changed that to a Viper 0.8 ohm coil. So that was that fixed. Then we went on to the spark plugs, and I noticed they were just a bit old, but also this is running BP7 spark plugs, so it's perhaps a little bit cold for the engine spec. So I've changed them from the resistor 7s down to BP6Es, which is the V-groove non-resistor type, and then got the plugs at 35 thou. Moving on to the Dizzy, I noticed it was two things. Firstly, the advance curve was a bit slow, so it was only getting to 20 degrees by 3,000 revs, which is quite slow. So we thought it had one of my Dizzies in it, but on inspection it wasn't. So we changed it for a spare one that Jeff had, which is one of mine. It's an old unit that I've done a few years ago now, but it's working perfectly. So we've installed that. The only concern I have is that might be a bit aggressive for the compression ratio, but we need to worry about that when we're on the road test. Anyway, turning our attention over to the carburettor, it was fitted with a BDL needle, which proved to be a little bit rich actually at 2,000 revs on the needle. So we've changed to a BBA. We've got a nice fueling curve now, and now I'll just need to modify that needle slightly to get the fueling absolutely perfect across the rev range. Okay, so Jeff's been out with a test drive in this one. We had to do quite some extensive modifications in the end to the needle. So we changed the BDL because it was a little bit rich. I went to a BBA needle, which brought the fuel in a little bit more linear across the rev range. And then it was a little bit lean at about 4,000 revs. So I was able to adjust the lean spot out and then bring that fuel in all the way across the rev range. So we'll talk to Jeff now and see how he likes it. All right, Jeff, so you've been out in it now after the tune-up. What do you think?
Well, it's a great drive, first of all. I mean, it's smooth, it's got a lot of power. It's really, really enjoyable to drive. It's good at slow speeds, it's good at high speeds. It's just a really, really nice drive. Really, really enjoyable. I'm sure that Lawrence, the owner, will really enjoy having this car now.
Excellent. So how would you describe the difference between the before and after tune?
Well, before it was good before, but this has kind of unleashed the horses. It's made quite a difference, and as I say, before it had power, it had a decent amount of power, but now it's all usable power, and it really is responsive. You put your foot down a little bit, and you can feel it instantly pick up, and it's just really, really great drive.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks for calling me out, Jeff, and I'm glad we was able to make such a positive difference.
No worries.
All right, thank you. Okay, so here I am in Dinton. Under the bonnet, this is an interesting one, this, because I know Chris, and I've been advising him on what to do with his Sprite engine. So he come to me and asked me about tuning it and a bit more power. So the good thing about these Sprite engines is they are perfect for bolt-on modifications. So they've got a very mild cam in. It's a derivative of the old 850 cam. Being on a 1275 engine, that kind of restricts it somewhat. So this particular car has got the standard engine, but fitted with a home-ported big valve cylinder head, which Chris did himself. It's got features a recurve 65 DM Dizzy, which I did for him. And the carburetor is no longer the original HIF 38. It's been changed for HIF 44. We've got the original airbox on, so it looks original, but I also drilled the bottom of the airbox, which made a huge difference to the performance on this one. So that was well worth doing. So all in all, this makes the kind of the most that you can get out of this engine. The only thing left to do, which I think Chris is thinking about doing now, which is the flywheel, so to have that off lightened and balanced, which will make the engine smoother, and obviously make it all it can be in terms of acceleration. So yeah, it was well worth me coming down to sort this out. The needle itself was a BBA needle that was in there, which I'd recommended, with a yellow spring, but it was a little bit lean through the part throttle between sort of 2,000 and 4,000 revs, so only needed one touch on the needle to get this one running really strong. So yeah, we're very happy with this one, and I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. I hope you enjoyed that. There was 4 cars there with all sorts of issues, but we got 4 very happy owners. So yeah, that was work well worth doing. As ever, if you want to see more, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you on the road soon. Thank you very much.